Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the city's 35th annual volunteer recognition reception. We've got a lot of folks to recognize tonight. We also have a lot of food. Please don't be shy if you need to get some more. Help yourself to do that, and more drinks as well. Just a couple of housekeeping and protocol points that I'll make before we start our main show tonight. My name is Scott Neal, and I'm the city manager, and I'll be the MC for about the first 2/3 of the evening, and then I turn it over to the main act tonight, who is the mayor, Jim Hovland, and Jim will handle the mayor commendations with members of the city council. A couple of things. On your table or on your seats, near your program, you'll see a white piece of paper. Looks like this. This is a survey that we're asking for some feedback on the city's proposed capital improvements for the upcoming year. You won't be allowed to leave tonight until you complete the survey, so I just thought I would throw that out there for you. If you want to leave your completed survey on the table, that would be great, and we'll pick them up at the end of the night. I should warn everybody that we are taping tonight's event, and it's live to tape. So you see all these people with sophisticated cameras and recording devices around here. We are recording tonight's event, and it's live to tape, so be careful with wardrobe issues and cussing and all those sorts of things. So just thought I'd let you know, because it'll be preserved forever. A couple of years ago, we got some feedback from folks that attended this event who really urged us to make it go a little faster, add a little pace to it. As you can see, I was supposed to be doing this at 5:30, so we're right on time, and we'll get going here in a second. But one of the things that we did when we started to figure out how to add some pace to it is we asked organizations to recognize one person and not multiple persons. And we also made it voluntary for folks to give an acceptance speech. So when a presenter comes up and gives a little bit of a speech about who they're recognizing, it's entirely possible that the person who is receiving the award may just step to this mic and say thank you and walk off right back to their seat. It's not obligatory. We're not banning acceptance speeches, but I'm just telling you, that's the normal course of how we do business here now. So you'll also hear me use a little bit of baseball terminology as we try to tee up our awards tonight. So Thomas Roikley, you are ready. You are ready. So Thomas, I'm going to have Thomas come up to give an award for the Edina Arts and Culture Commission. Lori Severson, you're on deck. You know what that means, right? You're on deck. So as soon as Thomas and his recognized party leave, you come on up here. And Cheryl, you're in the hole. So that means you're after them. And I will kind of come up and continue to MC. But our first award tonight is for the Arts and Culture Commission, Thomas Roikley. Thomas.
The Arts and Culture Commission would like to recognize John Swan for his amazing record of volunteer work in the community. I first met John when I joined the art board 3 years ago, and he already had served a full term on the art board. He then served another term, first on the Art Center board and then on the Arts and Culture Commission once it was formed. During his tenure, John was instrumental in creating and chairing the Edina Film Festival Committee. John is not easily discouraged by seemingly impossible tasks. And in 2013, the third year of the film festival, John and the hardworking Film Festival Committee raised over $6,500 for the Art Center. And revenue and tickets for the film festival have pretty much doubled every year since it was in existence. And speaking of not easily discouraged, John is also involved in the 4th of July parade, and I think Dick Crockett is going to recognize him for that for the Edina Community Foundation. John, on behalf of the Arts and Culture Commission, thank you very much for your work and your exceptional commitment to the arts in Edina, and we hope to see you on in many meetings and on many tasks in the future. Thanks.
Congratulations, John. And we have like a 3-award limit on a single night, so I hope you'll stay under that. The Edina Chamber of Commerce, Lori Severson is going to present the next award. Cheryl Gunnis, you're on deck. Dick Crockett in the hole.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Joe Ahrens, our current board chair, and the Edina Chamber of Commerce, I am pleased to present the 2014 Chamber of Commerce Volunteer of the Year Award to David Lee. You know, in so many organizations, the role of treasurer, that's an unsung hero. It's the person who makes an important and substantive contribution to the organization, yet oftentimes they go unrecognized. Well, we'd like to take an opportunity tonight to recognize Dave and his contributions to the Chamber, not only to our Chamber family, but to the community at large. Dave has been treasurer of the Edina Chamber of Commerce since 2006 and a board member since 2008. He was an integral part of the leadership team that guided the Chamber through change and growth, and did so with professionalism and vision. Dave has a talent of not only seeing what's in front of the Chamber, but he has a gift of long-term vision and what that means to an organization, and that type of individual is rare. I am proud to present the 2014 Edina Chamber of Commerce Volunteer Award to David Lee.
On behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, we'd like to give you a certificate of recognition and a little token of our appreciation for all your good service over the years. Thanks very much, Dave.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Lori. I'm very honored to get this award. It means a lot to me, given the caliber of the people that work in the Chamber and volunteer there. So thank you very much.
Now I'd like to introduce Cheryl Gunnis from the Edina Community Education Center and Community Foundation. Dick Crockett, you're on deck.
Edina Community Education is proud to recognize Charles Morrill as its 2014 Exemplary Volunteer. So learning, serving, and connecting in order to enrich lives and strengthen community is the heart and core of what we do in Edina Community Education. Many of our participants are drawn to or focus on just one of these approaches to community involvement, but not Charles. Charles is unique and an inspiration because he excels in all three, contributing in each of these ways on a nearly daily basis. A true lifelong learner, he's been a student in a variety of our community education classes, ranging from French and Chinese to yoga. In addition, he's been a teacher and a host of Edina Community Education classes in our woodshop, sharing his passion and expertise with new generations of emerging woodworkers. A consummate professional and real craftsman, he's also a gifted and patient teacher, as I've learned firsthand in classes my family has taken with Charles. Whether he's handing my 11-year-old and husband some goggles and a power nail gun, or my 14-year-old some goggles and a chisel, his gift for nurturing learners of all ages is really awe-inspiring. In a pen-making class that I took with my older son, my instinct was to panic the moment the lathe started spinning and start hovering and trying to direct him, but I learned it was better to watch Charles and step back and let my son, empower my son to do it for himself. And incidentally, the pen, the beautiful ballpoint wooden pen that my son made in that night was by far more beautiful and smooth than the thing that I turned out on my lathe. So thank you for that. In addition to his commitment to lifelong learning, he also serves as a volunteer through Community Ed in a variety of ways. For 3 years, he's been a weekly volunteer in the Success Center at Cornelia Elementary School, where he helps accelerate math and reading skills for students who need an extra boost. He's designed and built special therapy and learning equipment for early childhood special education students, and he's currently volunteering to help several Edina High School seniors work on a legacy project for Edina High School, and that's building customized wooden podiums for use at the school. In addition, he serves on the Community Education Services Council, and he's the rock-solid president of the Edina Woodworkers. We're working really hard to grow and evolve our community education program to involve more members and better meet community needs. I believe that when we look back at our program 5 or 10 years from now, we'll be able to attribute key elements of our success to the role that Charles has played during the past really pivotal and transitional year. He has a real gift for forging new connections, developing creative and engaging classes and programs to meet emerging community needs and welcome more community members into our program. For example, he's helped us to upgrade our wood shop with more safety equipment. He's developed a new orientation to that wood shop. He's developed a women's woodworking night and classes to teach specific woodworking skills to new learners. His Build Your Own Little Free Library class not only provided an intergenerational opportunity for grandparents and parents and young people to work on a project together, but it also has planted over a dozen little free libraries in neighborhoods around our community, spurring the love of reading and talking and sharing about books between neighbors. And his work on a new collaborative space on the 3rd floor of the Edina Community Center is just one more example of his deep commitment to bringing people together and creating a stronger sense of community and making us all feel like we belong. It is always a joy for me to hear Charles whistling down the hallway on his way to my office, and I know that my colleagues feel the same way. So from the bottom of my heart and from all the learners whose lives you've touched, thank you so much for what you've done and all you continue to do. We all look forward to growing and learning and being inspired by you in years to come. Thank you.
I want to take a moment to thank my wife for putting up with all the hours I spend volunteering, and thank the mayor for throwing this fine party on the day of our 36th wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Charles. I now want to introduce from the Edina Community Foundation, Dick Crockett and Bill Sirks here on deck, and Kay Manthe in the hole. Dick?
Thank you, Scott. Well, everybody loves a parade, and I'm happy on behalf of the Edina Community Foundation to recognize the great volunteer services of the guy who's responsible for our great parade in Edina. This is one of about a half a dozen programs that the Edina Community Foundation takes a direct responsibility for leading, along with Connecting with Kids, Edina Dialogue, Edina Reads, Edina Challenge, relatively new program. But the parade is the biggest celebration. We take a lot of pride in that, along with about 50 other organizations that we serve as a legal and support organization for. The parade is the one that most Edina people participate in, more than any other altogether, I suppose. My first really awareness of the nature of the parade goes back about 7 years. I think I had a 3 or 4-year-old granddaughter at the time. Took her to the parade, sitting on my shoulders, watching all this happen. I mean, there's soldiers, there's jeeps, there's trucks, there's bands, there's kids, there's candy. All of a sudden I heard this little voice say, maybe it's a birthday party. We don't tell kids what a parade is. They kind of have to learn themselves. Well, last year, Edina had a birthday party for a parade. Remember the Quasqui Centennial? I won't make you say it out loud, but last year was our Quasqui Centennial parade. And I had recruited John Swan to serve as first-time volunteer for this. He assembled his volunteer committee of about 10 people. They had to arrange for about another 30 volunteers to work the day of the parade. They need to manage about 90 units that serve in the parade. Without too much editorial comment, I'd say they generally divide into 2 groups, politicians and political servants and everybody else. And this is the group that takes all the attention. John did a great job. And then we have this celebration that about 15 to 20,000 people in any one year enjoy. And it was easy to ask John to do it again because he did such a great job. I'm real thankful on behalf of the community. We have John working for us, and I'm happy to recognize him as our Foundation Volunteer of the Year tonight. John, thank you.
I will be very brief for the sake of everyone. I'd like to thank both groups, both the Art and Culture Commission and the Foundation, for 2 awards. I thought it was a misprint when I opened up my program. I thought I was only here for 1. Ultimately, I'm just here representing a whole bunch of other volunteers for 2 other organizations. It's them you should be thanking. I wish I could just have them all here to celebrate this. So thank you very much for your support.
Congratulations, John. I now want to introduce Bill Sirks from our Energy and Environment Commission. Kay Manthe, you're up next. Bill?
Thanks, Scott. Julie, hi. The Energy and Environment Commission is really happy to have the opportunity to recognize Julie Risser tonight. And the Energy and Environment Commission is going to be 7 years old this June. Our first meeting was June 2007. And Julie and I are kind of the surviving original members of the commission. And there are 2 things that I remember from when I learned that I was going to be on this brand new commission. One was I was really excited, figuring this is going to be great. And the second one kind of took a little while, but I was reading who else is on this commission. And you just kind of go from wow and another bigger wow and figuring, I can't believe there's this much skill and expertise out here. Like, I wonder how I ever got on this, because these people are amazing. And so it's a great opportunity, and that only kind of has gotten stronger over the years, because as chair, I have gotten the opportunity to sit in on some of the council interviews, and the amount of talent and commitment and expertise that is out in our community willing to help make this place a better place is just phenomenal. And this is a great event, and again, I'm just happy to be able to recognize one of those kind of wow people, which is Julie Risser. And just a few facts about, Julie was not only a member of our commission, but for about the first 4 or 5 years, although I think Julie felt more like 10, she was on the Planning Commission and the Energy Environment Commission at the same time. But what we got out of that was, as a new commission, having that kind of expertise of somebody who's already knows how commissions work and how to be effective. It was really valuable for us to figure out how do we design this new commission and new commissioners to work together and kind of help move environmental issues forward in the community. So that's been great. And the other big thing I wanted to really thank Julie for was she was one of 2 commissioners that really put in a lot of time and effort to be, I think we were the first city in Minnesota to actually develop a chapter in our comprehensive plan for the city back in 2008 to specifically address energy and environment issues. There's required areas for comp plans in the metro area, but there is no requirement to actually have energy or environment issues addressed. And we still may be the only city that's got a specific plan that is really important for a city to say, here are our goals, objectives, and here's what the environment means to our city. And Julie was a big driver in that too. So you can join me in thanking Julie for what she brought to our commission and, more importantly, what she's given to our community. So thank you, Julie.
And I just really want to emphasize how much that means to me. And we don't have to have a Chapter 10, which is energy and environment. And I don't think that would have happened without Mayor Hovland supporting it, without city staff supporting it, without John Lonsbury from the Planning Commission supporting it, all of my fellow commissioners backing it, and really seeing the import of it. And I would just love it if somebody looked to see if the Met Council is even considering making this a requirement. I don't think they are, but we're such a wonderful community of so many people who are willing to, say, hey, you know what, it's not a requirement, but we really should do it anyway. And I think that's what makes Edina such a wonderful place to be. So thank you all.
Thank you, Bill, and congratulations, Julie. Now I want to introduce Kay Manthe from the Federated Women's Club, and Lisa Nelson, you're up next.
Good evening. I'm here for the Edina Federated Women's Club. I had the privilege of being president this year, and I know we were supposed to nominate one person, but you could not separate these 2 people who over the course of our project became sort of joined at the hip. Arlene Clapp and Rochelle Raming were chairman of our fundraiser in January. We call it Feds Fest. And we first started organizing this in October. So you know what dynamos these two were to get us all organized and have a wonderful fundraiser. We managed to raise $40,000, which we gave to the city for scholarships and for Edina Give and Go. Arlene has been volunteering for years at various things. She's lived in Edina all her life, and she served on the board of Corner House for 16 years. She just joined Feds a couple years ago, but she's been our membership chair, and next year she'll be our president. Rochelle also lived in Edina for 49 years, and she's been a member of the Federated Women's Club since back when we had Santa House. Some of you will remember that. She was chair one year, and she served as president as well. I want you to join with me in honoring these two ladies for all their hours of service given to community work. Thank you.
Are you ready?
I am.
We're just here to thank you. We appreciate being honored this way. I do. I know Rochelle does.
Yeah, it's very
And
nice.
It is. We didn't know we were supposed to bring our family, or we would have maybe had the other room full too. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Goodness.
Congratulations, Arlene and Rochelle. Now I want to introduce Lisa Nelson from the Garden Council, and she'll be followed by Marcy Matson from the Historical Society. Lisa.
I'm Lisa Nelson. I was the president of the Garden Council last year, and it was my duty and my pleasure to choose the Edina Garden Council's Volunteer of the Year for 2013. And Elizabeth Franklin was the hands-down obvious choice for all that she's done. She is a photographer, a floral designer, a painter. She has the joie de vivre that we love to have in the Garden Council. But more importantly, she's a really hard worker, really creative talent, and has contributed a tremendous amount to the organization. She has been president of Kellowdale, which is one of our constituents clubs. She works hard in the greenhouse seeding and transplanting, but that's not a big deal because everybody does that in the Garden Council. But what Elizabeth did was pick up the Flower Press, which was our defunct newsletter. And in the age of the internet, it's a wonderful opportunity to communicate with your members, especially because you can include fabulous photographs, which Elizabeth is really good at taking. So she revitalized the Flower Press, redesigned it so that it's beautiful and has lots of photographs and makes everybody feel really good about what they're doing. And we were just thrilled to have her. But then, you know, she just obviously wasn't busy enough, so, you know, despite having triplets. So she and Diane Plunkett Latham got together and started brainstorming, you know, we had this quasquisquesquicennial, whatever, right? 60th anniversary for the EGC. That was easier. We didn't have to do any fancy Latin names. For the 60th anniversary, we were planning a lunch or dinner for our members to celebrate, and Janet Chandler had done a wonderful history of the Garden Club for the 50th anniversary, and so Elizabeth thought, well, let's update it for the last 10 years. And then she got to thinking and working with Diane and the Historical Society, and it expanded and exploded into a giant archiving project where she contacted former members, she put ads in the newspapers, collecting any memorabilia, photographs, whatever you could find about the history of the Garden Council, which over 60 years was quite a long history and showed a lot of the development of Edina. So she collected that material, worked with the Historical Society and an archivist, archiving all the material and figuring out a cataloging system so that people could find it in the future if they're researching a particular topic. So we were just thrilled. And then she recruited our members to do archiving work so that we could get this all done. And then, you know, in her spare time, she did a 20-minute video of the history of the Garden Council so that we could show that on a continuous loop for our 60th anniversary party, which everyone loved, especially some of our former members who've retired and from gardening and came back to see pictures of themselves in their gardening heavy days. We just couldn't have been more thrilled with all that Elizabeth did. It just made everybody so enthusiastic about the work that we do. And then she was talking to Marcy Matson at the Historical Society, and Marcy offered us the opportunity to mount an exhibit on the history of the Garden Council in the main hallway of the Historical Society while they were switching exhibits in the side rooms. So, with 1 month's notice, Elizabeth gathered together all sorts of relevant archival materials, put them in a beautiful format, and hung an exhibit at the Edina Historical Society for a month. Boom. Now, she's never been a curator before, but she is now. So we just thank Elizabeth for so many things that she's done. Her history went through all of the different things that the Garden Council has done over the years. The increasing size of our plant sale, which is Mother's Day weekend. Don't forget to come to Arneson Acres. The introduction of recycling, which was initiated by the Garden Council. The buckthorn removal project, which Kellodale and Diane and Elizabeth have been very active in. We just can't thank Elizabeth enough for bringing all of this to the attention of the community. So, if you would like to see more of Elizabeth's talents, I encourage you to go to Art and Bloom this weekend. In the Impressionist room, there will be a floral design by Elizabeth interpreting one of the Impressionist pieces of art there. So, thank you, Elizabeth, for everything you have done.
Thank you very much. I am so privileged to get this award today. And I just want to say I've been a member of the Edina Garden Council for 7 years, and normally that would be considered a long time, except that the members in my club have been there for 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, and 50 plus years. And I am so proud of their achievements and everything they have done, including Mary Brindle, who gave us the gazebo when she was president of the Edina Garden Council. Thank you so much.
Frank. Subbing for Marcy Matson is Frank Carterell from the Historical Society. Frank.
Thank you. I'm subbing because Marcy's father's funeral was today. But we are pleased to have Dan Latham here. He's now the president of the Historical Society, has been for a couple of years. He retired about 8 years ago, and we did not really realize that when we asked him, he would really dig in and do as much as he has. Just been a wonderful addition to the historical board. He has worked with all of the computers, worked with actually the legal end of it, and we're very proud of all the work he has done through the year, especially the Quasquicentennial last year and the upcoming year, the hockey that will be in about 6 months, the display that is today up, which is the mapping of Edina and the surveying and mapping of Edina, and the continuing work that the Historical Society will do. So thank you, and thank Don for joining the Historical Society. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Frank, and I want to also thank all of my wonderful volunteer friends on the Historical Society. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Dan. Now I'd like to recognize Jan Seidman. Jan is the chair of our Human Rights and Relations Commission. And John Leroy, you're on deck.
I know that also normally they say that you should have one person for your award. However, this award came with 2 people. So I'd like to announce that our award in the Edina Human Rights and Relations Commission is called the Tom Oy Award. And Tom Oy has been or had been a resident and started the Edina Human Rights Commission 30 years ago. He was on also for many years, obviously before term limits, so he was there. He was a World War II vet. He was a second-generation Japanese American. He was an active humanitarian. We also, by the way, this year met a colleague of Tom Oy, and we will have a PSA service commercial coming on next year talking about Tom Oy. So the Tom Oy Award is given to individuals whose efforts include fostering respect and dignity for others, who model courage and compassion and demonstrate leadership. This year, for the second time in a row, we have 2 city employees that are being nominated. We're honored to nominate Edina Parks and Recreation Supervisor Kristen Arvold and Detective Tom McKenzie for this award. They have both found a niche that was needed in Edina. They found out that there was a population in the Park Knollwood community, that the Somali community, that also had barriers with language, that had barriers with culture, that had barriers, financial barriers. The 2 of them decided to work together with the Parks and Communication and the police department. And again, come together and work with the teens, the schools. I didn't know the 2 of them before and had read their background, and I'm truly amazed. They both attended Cornelia Elementary School Somali Parent Council meetings, learning about the barriers that are faced by that population in Edina. They provided babysitting clinics for Somali teens in the building's community room. So the significance of that is if the parents don't have babysitters, they can't come to the public school meetings. So that was the reason why they set that up. They created school bus transportation so that the children can come to the summer programs. Without the transportation, they didn't have the buses or the cars to come to the events. So that was significant. Kristen also developed a traveling teen and leadership program at Countryside Park. Detective McKenzie initiated the famous Nights to Unite near the apartments, where he brought his squad car and equipment to also for people to get used to the police, to get used to them as being friends and partnerships with the community. Also got Target to donate school supplies to the community. Kristen initiated a Meet on the Sidewalk event, which introduced Somali parents as well as the Park Lawn neighborhood. Both Kristen and Tom's interdepartmental teamwork, initiated by the both of them, has demonstrated leadership by example for improving and advancing human rights in Edina. I also want to mention that Kristen has worked for the city of Edina for 7 years. Tom began his service with Edina many years ago, approximately 23 years ago. And if I remember correctly, you are retiring, is it next month? Next month. It's my pleasure to present the Tom Oy Awards to Park and Recreation Supervisor Kristen Arsvold and Edina Detective Tom McKenzie. As an aside, we also work with the Edina Arts Center to create awards for us. They've created cups, or pottery cups for the 2 of them that they can use forever and wherever they'd like to. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this honor. It's sort of strange to be recognized for what I just think is my job, so I appreciate that. I'm very sad to lose my partner in crime, and he will be sorely missed. And I want to thank my dad who's here tonight, who taught me to be a compassionate individual.
Just want to thank former Chief Jeff Long and current Chief Dave Nelson for supporting the initiative, what was kind of out of the box when me and Kristen brought it forward, but they stayed behind us on this and we'll keep pushing it forward. Thank you.
John's up next. And then we have Mary Brindle and Sheila Carrington from Edina Morningside Rotary Club and Kia Steele.
I'm John DeLeroy with the Edina Lions Club. I'm their current president. And on behalf of the Edina Lions Club, I'd like to present Lion Jerry Johnson with our club's Ori Award. The Ori Award was established in 1991 in recognition of Lions Club President Ori Knudsen, our first president, for his loyalty and distinguished vision to the club. Lion Jerry has these same qualities, and that is why we're presenting this award as an outstanding member of the year to him. Lion Jerry first joined the Edina Lions Club in 1989. He has filled many of our positions, including that of president. He also participates in many service projects the club is involved with. Jerry's enthusiasm touches all of our members in some way in all of our meetings. You can always find Jerry working to provide the little extras that make our meetings successful. I wanted to take this opportunity to make you aware of what the Lions Club is all about. Lions Club International is the world's largest service organization with over 1.3 million members in 45,000 clubs worldwide. Lions are everywhere. We're active men and women in over 200 countries and geographical areas. Wherever a natural disaster occurs, the Lions are there providing for immediate needs of food, water, clothing, and medical supplies, and aiding in long-term reconstruction. Lions were founded in 1917 and are best known for fighting blindness. It's part of our history, but that is our work today. Our local focus is providing volunteers and funds to Can-Do Canines, Opportunity Partners, Pacers Center, many other organizations. We support the Minnesota Special Olympics each summer by providing vision checks and fitting glasses for the athletes at no charge. Our motto is "We serve." Lions are a part of a global network doing whatever is necessary to help our local communities. So it's on behalf of the Edina Lions Club that I would like to present Lion Jerry with the Ori Award.
On behalf of Edina Lions and the city of Edina, I want to thank you for this award. I met Ori Knudsen in 1989 when I joined the Lions Club in Webster, Edina, and the first question was, he asked me, how do you like lions? Anyway, I've enjoyed the years and living in Edina. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jerry. Now I want to introduce Mary Brindle, Council Member Mary Brindle, and also President of the Morningside Rotary Club, Mary Brindle, and Sheila Carrington. Kia Steele from the Parks and Rec Commission, you're on next, and Tim Olson after that. Mary.
Thank you. I'm here as Rotarian Mary Brindle. I'm a member of and president of Edina Morningside Rotary Club. We meet Tuesday mornings at 7:30 at Edina Country Club, and you're always welcome. I have two esteemed members of our club behind me, and I'm going to let Sheila Carrington talk a little bit about why we're here.
Good evening. As Executive Director of Edina, A Better Chance, and a member of the Edina Morningside Rotary Club, I'm here very happily to recognize one of our members, David Kologerson. Edina, A Better Chance is an academic scholarship program that's been a part of the Edina community for over 40 years. We bring academically talented youth of color from all around the United States to live here in Edina and to attend Edina High School, which, as all of you are aware, is an excellent school and at the top in the nation, giving these children an opportunity they otherwise would not have to get a solid college prep education. They stay here during the school year in a house that we have for them here in Edina, and that's where David comes in. I met David about a year ago when he first came to a Rotary Club meeting, and he was told about a need that we had at Edina ABC. Our home in Edina is aging, had a lot of need for repairs, and in particular, our exterior needed repairs, most prominently the fact that our driveway and the steps to the house were crumbling from years of use. David very generously offered his services as a contractor and owner of Calcon Construction to help us with our needs and the concrete work that we needed to have done at the house. Not only did he right away step up and offer help, He got the plans together. He was our general contractor on the job, brought in his crew, had an amazing job done on the property, and then he donated his contractor's fees to us, saving us thousands of dollars, which is so important because we are a self-funded organization. So every penny for us is really important, and that was an amazing gift to us. And David not only did this work, but he actually took the time to get to know the kids. He was really interested in knowing the kids. The kids all loved him, and our resident directors too. So he really took an interest not only in what we needed, but in the kids in our program. And he always asks about how our youth are doing, and they, you know, always are happy to see him when when we see him at various events. So with that in mind, I really would like to give David so much thanks on behalf of Edina A Better Chance and the Edina Morningside Rotary Club. Thank you so much for what you've done for the community and for our program.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. It's now my pleasure to introduce Kia Steele. Kia is from our park board. Tim Olson, Sergeant Tim Olson from our police department, you're up next.
When I first met Joseph, when I joined the park board, he stood out because of his friendliness. Let's be honest, we don't volunteer just to do work. We want to meet people and we want to make friends, and he does a really good job of building relationships and helping the atmosphere of the park board be a fun volunteer experience. But aside from that, Joseph makes sure he knows what he's voting on. He goes out and he experiences the parks and the facilities. He gets involved. We have a plethora of task force, study groups, all sorts of projects in Park and Rec, and he has been involved in a majority of them, from playgrounds to consultant reports to bylaws for the Park and Rec board. And also, I've never had someone call me so much about consultant reports. And he's so excited about them that it makes me excited about them, and it just energizes the entire board. He's really into looking at the user experience. What does an Edina resident feel when they walk into a facility? What does a child want when they go into the playground? Instead of looking at numbers and the paper, he wants to feel the experience. So I've been very grateful to have served with him. His term has ended 6 years on the Edina Park Board, and I hope he will continue to be involved with Park and Rec. So congratulations on receiving the Edina Park and Rec Award.
I jotted down a few pages of notes here. I'm kidding. I'm sincerely grateful and thankful for the friends that I've met around Edina on the park board, as well as the staff. It's a great community, so thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce Sergeant Tim Olson from the Edina PD, and following him will be Barbara LaValeur. Tim.
Thank you. On behalf of the Edina Police Department, I would like to recognize our Volunteer of the Year, former Reserve Captain Browder Stone. In 1996, at the young age of 57, Browder joined our Police Reserve program. He quickly rose to the level of captain, and he spent nearly a decade under that position. He's been a critical member of the Edina Police Department, running the program's day-to-day operations, training and strategic planning initiatives. And after 18 years, we are here to say thanks to Browder. When many people look at a reserve uniform, they by nature think of an extension of the police department. What they don't realize is that people like Browder are people like you and I, students, professionals, business people, coming out to do something for their community, not getting paid, oftentimes in the background in a thankless position somewhere off where no one can recognize or see them. To understand and appreciate the significance of the reserve program and the reserve officers put and give back to this city, one need only look as far as events like our homecoming parade, the 4th of July fireworks and celebrations, the community events at the high school, the many accidents and tragedies that happen when everyone else is sleeping. People like Browder Stone come out to do the difficult work that without them would be very taxing on the police department and oftentimes things that we wouldn't be able to handle. Through the weekends, late nights, emergency situations, and routine patrols, Browder has dedicated over 18 years of his life, accounting for about 4,000 hours of dedication and give back to the city. Though he's never asked anything from us, we're here to recognize him. Thanks, Browder.
Thanks, Sergeant Olson. Well, back in 1996, when I joined the Edina Police Reserves, I didn't know much about the organization. I thought, well, I would volunteer for 2 to 3 years. Well, here I stand before you, almost 18 years later, still with the organization. During that time, I've had the privilege and the honor to work with 4 chiefs of police. When I started out, it was Chief Bill Berghelm, then came Chief Mike Satari, and Chief Jeff Long, and now Chief Dave Nelson. It has been a distinct honor and a pleasure to work for these gentlemen, along with all of the professional people in the Edina Police Department. I can say also that there are 2 officers here tonight. Officer Ryan Scholes, who was a reserve under my direction, and he graduated out of our program, became a licensed peace officer for the Edina Police Department. Then came Officer Sean Young. He left the Edina Police Reserve Program and went to South Lake, Minnetonka to become a police officer, and now he has come back to Edina as one of our finest. During my time, I saw a lot of tragedy. One of the things that stands out in my mind was the bank robbery at 69th and France, where Officer Mike Blood was critically shot by the bank robber. We eventually caught the bank robber later on. But situations like that really stand out in my mind. I helped with the investigation of that, worked many hours on that program. Then came the house that blew up on 50th Street in Arden, and I spent 22 hours working on the investigation, or working with the investigators on that program. And there's been many other situations like that, house fires, tragic accidents. One thing I do remember is that I got a call about midnight one Sunday night, and there was a truck fire, semi-truck fire on Highway 169. Well, the wind chill temperature was 39 below. The wind, or the snow was coming out of the northwest like you wouldn't believe. We had to shut down Highway 169. And believe me, you didn't stand outside directing traffic very long when it's 39 below wind chill. But it's things like that that I've been able to help this city get through. I would be remiss tonight if I did not thank my wonderful wife, Jan, who has supported me through this whole thing. I would come home from situations, fires, accidents, you name it, specifically like the big apartment house fire we had at 4141 Park Lawn Avenue several years ago. We had to evacuate 200 people out of the building and came home about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And of course, the first thing I open the door, when I walk in, I wake up the spooky cats. And then I wake up my wife, and she wants to know all about what's going on, and I'm tired, I want to go to bed. But anyways, in all seriousness, I could not have done this without the support of my wonderful wife. And I thank everybody. You have a wonderful reserve program, and you should be very proud of the individuals that work in it to help out the city of Edina. Thank you.
Now from the Public Art Commission, Barbara Lavalure. Paul Nelson from the Transportation Commission, you're on deck. Barbara.
So on behalf of Public Art in Edina, I have the distinct honor of presenting our volunteer award to our student member, Anna Pugh. One of the great things about living in Edina is we're one of those communities that has student members on our commissions. And it's an opportunity for us to learn from students and from students to learn from us. And we have definitely learned from Anna. She not only is an artist in her own right, but she raises her hand, she gives her opinion, and she makes a difference for our public art in Edina. She's been on in our group for the last 3 years. She's the daughter of Sharon and Doug Pugh. I think Sharon is out there, and Doug is out of town, and she has 2 younger siblings. Calvin is a 9th grader, and Margaret is a 7th grader. You can read about Anna's many art awards in the program tonight. She said that she enjoyed being involved in public art in Edina because it allowed her to be able to experience and take part in the decision-making and thought process of regulating, selecting, and encouraging public art in our community. She's been a student, as it says in the program, at the Edina Art Center Art Academy for 10 years, having started in the 2nd grade. And she really credits Michael Fry, who's the director of the Art Center, for encouraging her and recommending that she be involved in public art in Edina. So I'm really proud to honor Anna tonight. Here's a token of our expression. And do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, thank you. It's a big honor receiving an award from your hometown when you're about to leave for college next year. So thank you.
Oh, I forgot to say she's going to Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We're sad to see her go, but I'm sure that they'll be lucky to have her.
Thank you. Now I want to introduce Paul Nelson from our Transportation Commission, followed by Nancy Grimsby from the Women's Club. Paul.
Thanks, Scott. Well, good evening. And again, my name is Paul Nelson. I've been the chair of the Transportation Commission for the last 2 years, and I'm here to recognize Jennifer Genevieve, who has been a stalwart in our organization for a number of years. Jennifer has worked on every major Edina Transportation and Development Initiative in the last decade. She's worked tirelessly on the Edina Transportation Commission for the past 6 years and has been an integral member of the Bike Edina, formerly the Bike Edina Task Force group, since its inception in July of 2006. This year alone, Jennifer has spent many, many hours working on an award submission to recognize the city of Edina as a bike-friendly community, and we are awaiting word on that right now, but hopefully we'll hear sometime around the 1st of May, so in just a week or so. This is quite an award, as there are only 10 other communities in Minnesota that have ever been recognized as a bike-friendly community. In addition to the extraordinary efforts on behalf of the city, she's also been entrenched in the work of leading the city to accept the Living Streets policy in late 2013, and continues to assist the city in developing the work plan to bring the living streets alive in our city. Many other things, there's a whole list of things that she's done, but just wanted to touch on a few. Through Jennifer's service, we now have a consistent source of funding called the PAX Fund for important investments in sidewalks, and which will help us all, but in particular will help the Edina students who walk to school safer, will help them walk safer to school through our new Active Routes to School plan. And Jennifer's phone just went off, so we know that. Jennifer also, aside from transportation, Jennifer was also a dedicated member of the city's Neighborhood Identification Steering Committee, and that group worked on assigning the city's neighborhoods, boundaries, and names. And she is currently a member of the Grandview Redevelopment CAT. And her work on Grandview will mean that any new development that occurs there will be much safer in all modes of transportation. So please join me in welcoming and congratulating Jennifer on her many years of service to the Transportation Commission.
Well, just very quickly, thank you, Paul. That was really very nice. I've been truly blessed to serve with a great Transportation Commission over the year and great people on the Bike Task Force. And I'm grateful to the City Council for how they have furthered transportation in our community. And thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Jennifer, and congratulations. I now want to introduce Nancy Grimsby from the Women's Club, and Alyssa, you're up next.
We wish to, everybody wanted me to get up there and lower that mic. I wish to give the volunteer from Edina Women's Club an award this year. Barbara has spent 2 years as a program director, and she has arranged wonderful programs for our meetings. She has also taken on the job of meeting with the caterer and making sure that there are always enough meals ready for everybody that shows up to our lunches. Barbara also takes over any job that needs doing and just does them. She also volunteers. She's also a board member of the Singing Seniors. She's a volunteer literary tutor for adults for 4 local school districts. She's involved in the senior center activities and active in organizations for retired educators. It's great pleasure and a big thank you to Barbara for all she's done. Thank you.
I want to thank the women of the Edina Women's Club who nominated me for this honor. And we've lived in Edina for 43 years. And every month I used to read in the Edina Sun about the meetings of the Edina Women's Club. And I thought, now when I retire, that's what I'm going to do. And I did.
Congratulations. I now want to introduce Alyssa LaRue Smith from Fairview Southdale Hospital, and she'll be followed by Ruth Falgame.
Well, we pulled a couple of fast ones here because I'm actually Katie Dayhill. I'm the volunteer coordinator at Fairview Southdale Hospital. Alyssa is a wonderful manager, and one of the fine points of the manager is that she shares the glory as well as the pain and the work. And it was my honor and her choice to have me present this award tonight. Fairview Southdale Hospital is fortunate to have a core of 575 plus volunteers ranging in age from 14 to 92 years who contributed over 61,900 hours in 2013. At this time of year, we pause to take special note of all the volunteers who contribute so much to hospital operations and the patient experience, and to select our Volunteer of the Year. With so many dedicated and generous volunteers, it's interesting to find how readily our choice presents itself. This year, Fairview Southdale Hospital is proud to acknowledge Will and Sheila Zimmerman, see we slipped in with 2, as our Volunteers of the Year. Will and Sheila, partners in life, have chosen to share some of their time with Fairview Southdale Hospital, and we are so grateful. Will became a hospital volunteer in May of 2000. He has donated 3,600 hours and focuses his efforts in support of several specific assignments. As a Step Force volunteer, he transports and discharges patients, and he completes errands throughout the hospital. At the hospitality desk, he greets and directs hospital guests throughout the hospital. Will is always willing to serve where the need may be greatest. His face is a face of service and dignity that meets each patient upon their arrival and sends them home with a smile when they leave. He is consistently kind and considerate of the feelings and concerns of others. His fellow volunteer Dallas Burns says, Will has a terrific sense of humor and engages in lots of cheerful banter to brighten everyone's day. Sheila is obviously the love of his life. They are a charming couple and are two of Fairview's most caring and generous volunteers. Sheila became a hospital volunteer more recently in May of 2011. She has donated 575 hours, offering her support to the patients and staff in the outpatient cancer clinic. Hers is a face of compassion that empathizes and supports each patient in difficult times. Tina in the cancer clinic wrote, "I have known Sheila for a year, and the moment I started my employment at the cancer clinic, I knew that she belonged right here with us due to her caring and compassionate nature. I was drawn to her smiling face and her kindness from the very day I met her. You can see the patient's face light up when it's Sheila's volunteer day, ours as well. We know that no matter how crazy the day gets, Sheila will be our constant light at the end of the tunnel." Both Will and Sheila have tackled a number of additional tasks and projects ranging from poinsettia and holiday newspaper delivery, and wheelchair roundups, and believe me, wheelchair roundups are no small task, to work in support of the Fairview Foundation, as well as medical records and other assignments. Will and Sheila share a love of education and have dedicated their professional lives to youth. Will as a teacher and principal, and Sheila as a teacher. Here at Fairview Southdale, they have teamed up to continue this dedication to youth and education. They offer their support to the Medical Explorers Program, sponsored by Fairview Southdale Hospital, and the Junior Volunteer Scholarship Program Selection Committee. So what is it that makes Will and Sheila so special? They are each willing to put their hands to a variety of tasks, but it's more than that. They each bring a reassuring personal warmth and a sense of calm competence that ensures that all they do will be accomplished efficiently and with great kindness. In all they do, in their separate assignments, and when they act as a team, Will and Sheila each embody the Fairview values of dignity, integrity, service, and compassion. We are so proud to acknowledge their contribution with this well-deserved recognition. Thank you.
We would like to begin with thanks to all of you on the Fairview Southdale Hospital Board of Trustees, especially Mr. Brad Beard, Mr. Mike McAvoy, and Mr. Rob Grumman. Also, Ms. Kathy Utney, Director of Patient and Guest Services. And special thanks to be associated with a truly fine staff of volunteer services department members, Alyssa, Katie, Diane, Nancy, and Ashley, who really value our interests and efforts. Thank you.
Well, we are very honored. We consider volunteering at Fairview Southdale Hospital most important. We consider all volunteers a great asset in the success of making our hometown hospital nationally recognized and an outstanding multi-specialty hospital. Thank you for the privilege of us serving as a volunteer and this very special volunteer award.
Congratulations, Will and Sheila. Now I want to introduce Ruth Valgame from the Women's Club, and Steve Slice, you're up next.
Hello. I'd like to introduce you tonight to one of our past presidents, Rebecca Sorensen, and Rebecca saw us through our 75th year with the Morningside Women's Club. Besides serving as club president, she has really upped our boutique and created several seasons of really fabulous programming. The boutique has especially benefited from Rebecca's ability to cultivate new relationships with local artisans, and she has a gift for acquiring generous donations from local businesses, and her excellent public relations skills have increased not only the attendance of our boutique beyond our wildest dreams. We started out selling each other baked goods in the basement. But she's also, her efforts, I can't tell you what they've done for our scholarship program. This year we're thrilled to award 4 $2,000 scholarships this spring, and it could not have been at all possible without Rebecca and her efforts. We're only one of the many organizations she donates her time to, all while raising 4 young children. And I have a quote from Elizabeth Andrew, which seems to describe Rebecca perfectly. Volunteers do not necessarily have the time, they just have the heart. And she has the heart. And one more, if I may quote another one of her colleagues and friends, Rebecca, you're amazeballs. I'm honored to present you with the Morningside Women's Club Ladies of 1938 with our 75th logo amended. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have to add a big thanks to my fellow club members over here, my husband, Mark Sorensen, who's with us. My mother was with me over the weekend and said, you deserve this award with your 4 children, because it was quite a weekend. And I'll say that it's a joy to be in a community that has a women's club that gathers multiple generations of women together to elevate themselves, all while having childcare, so you can shove those little ones away and just listen to a great speaker and feel like you're part of a wonderful community. So anyway, I'm thrilled and honored. It's a fabulous neighborhood and a great club. Thank you.
Now I want to introduce Steve Slice from the Rotary Club of Edina, and Steve will be followed by Ann Dickey from the Y. Steve.
Thank you, Scott. I've had the pleasure of knowing Doug Johnson since he joined the Rotary Club of Edina in January of 2010. Doug quickly showed me that he leads the life under the Rotary model of service above self. Doug retired from his full-time career in 2011 and quickly became more involved in Rotary. In July of this year, Doug began his 2-year term on our board as Public Relations Director. Doug, along with his committee, are responsible for our club's website, media relations, branding, and marketing. Under Doug's direction, our website and Facebook pages are updated often. The public is made aware of our club speakers and meeting times through media relations and public press releases, and our membership is kept up to date on the activities of our board decisions regarding local and international grants, as well as other actions. To keep the committee members well informed, he holds bi-weekly meetings for which he provides a detailed written report to all committee members. Doug has never missed a monthly Rotary board meeting and has perfect meeting attendance. Outside of Rotary, Doug serves on the Southdale Y, leading the Communications Committee, the Fairview Southdale Hospital Board, advising on public relations and volunteers, leading at Wooddale Church. In his free time, Doug enjoys biking and traveling, leading public tours of the Twin Stadium, not today, right, Doug? And the most rewarding volunteer position there is, enjoying time with his grandchildren. Doug, it's my privilege to give you this award for our 2014 Rotarian of the Year. Thank you. All right.
Well, my wife said to me when I left, you're going again to the recognition event. But I didn't know I was getting anything. So this is a real surprise. It's a real privilege because as I look around the room, with my Edina Schools career and now doing other volunteering, there are so many of you that I've had the opportunity to work with. So it's a real privilege and honor to be recognized like this because there are so many people here. I see Kay Bach, my very first mentor here in Edina, that taught me what volunteering was all about. So, and Kay is still mentoring me. She said, keep it short. So thank you so much. And I have to tell you, I just love being in this Rotary Club. We lovingly refer to ourselves as the best Rotary Club in the universe, and I think we are. We have some fabulous people that we work with. So thanks so much for this from the Rotary Club of Edina, and also thanks to the rest of you. I appreciate it.
Congratulations, Doug. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Ann Dickey from the Southdale Y. And after Ann, we will switch MCs, and I'll tell you a little bit about that when she's done.
Good evening. I know I'm not supposed to start out with a question, but I feel like since I'm in a room of volunteers, this might be a pretty safe question. with a lot of answers, a lot of hands going up. So I'd like to see a hand raised if you have ever volunteered to coach your child, a grandchild, a neighbor kid in any sort of activity ever. Raise your hand. All right. So you guys should all understand when I tell you, I have with me today Julia Dutov, who is quite possibly the perfect volunteer. We work at the Southdale Y, and last spring, Julia came and found me. She had met my boss, Mary, and they'd had a conversation about Julia wanted to do some work, and could she possibly volunteer for the swim team? As a coach, I said, yes, you can certainly volunteer for the swim team. That would be fantastic. Only to find out that she's from Canada, so she truly could only volunteer. And she asked for a large job. She asked for lots of hours. And when you look at the swimmers' faces that Julia worked with, and you saw the feeling of success that these kids had when they worked with her, it's immeasurable, the joy that they brought to me, to see I call them my kids. There's 190 of them. But to see them work with Julia was like magic. She's fantastic. And I've never seen the dedication of anyone she's not from Edina, she's from Canada. She came here, found us, thank goodness, but she embodied what it means to be an Edina resident. She gave of herself willingly, selflessly, and changed the lives of every kid that she touched over there at the Southdale YMCA. So I'm so thankful for what you did. I'm sad that she has to leave us to head back to Canada, but you can read all of her accomplishments. She really is remarkable. But she's in good company tonight because, like you gave your time for youth sports. Julia did the exact same thing. So Julia, on behalf of the Southdale Y, you receive our Volunteer of the Year award.
Thank you very much.
Well, that ends the first part of our presentations tonight, our recognitions tonight, the community recognition part. And I can tell you that after doing this for a couple of years and seeing the Y people wait all the way to the end every year, we'll flip it next year and we'll make the arts and culture people wait to the end of the year. So we will do that. I want to tell you that this is my fourth event that I've gotten to do this since I've come to Edina, and it really is a reminder of how important the volunteer spirit is in what we do here. As city staff, I'm paid for what I do, and I love my job here, and I can tell you a lot of the other city staff that are here feel the same way, but we really are honored to be in your presence because Edina wouldn't be Edina without the volunteers that we see in our audience tonight, so thank you for being here. I want to recognize some of the city staff that are here that put on this party. These parties don't just happen, right? So Heather, Annie, if you want to wave. Annie, is MJ still here maybe? Yeah, over here. Thanks for all your work. This is a nice party tonight. And yeah. And now it's time for our mayor commendations, and I want to introduce our mayor, the Honorable Jim Hovland. Mr. Mayor.
You know, there's quite a few people here from the Morning Rotary that I'm part of. And I can't tell you how many times we've heard that refrain about the Noon Club being the greatest club in the universe. We recognize them as the oldest club in the universe. And I'm sure there would have been more of them here tonight, but it's past their bedtime. They've already... So here we are. The snow is swirling around outside. The wind is cooking out of the northwest. There's green grass beyond. It must be about 3 weeks from the Garden Council plant sale. 1 week. Yeah. Well, you'll buy them and put them in your garage and nurture them along until you can plant them. You know, there's a lot of ways to measure volunteerism, and some group has tried to peg the economic value of it in the U.S., and they say that volunteerism in terms of time and value has created about $162 billion worth of value, the GDP equivalent of the country of Egypt. But I don't ever hear anybody talk about being a volunteer and saying, I think, you know, I spent this many hours, the folks from Fairview Southdale, you know, 3,600 hours, 3,400 hours. I wonder what that time was worth. really all these folks, what they're doing all over Edina and everywhere else, are thinking about enhancing the lives of others, and in the context of that, enhancing their own. So that's what I think of when I think of volunteerism in Edina. We've got so many fantastic people in this town. Now, if you would just bear with me a second, flip this program over, and you'll see that nice little drawing that is about the Garden Council. I don't think Tim Zimmerman, our greenhouse supervisor, is here this evening, but this flower on the back of this program also made me think about Tim because he lost his 6-year-old daughter years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago now. So for some reason that made me think of him and his daughter and his family. I want to thank everybody that participated here that helped put this event together, some wonderful folks. I've got some things that I need to do. I think I left my program right over here. So when folks come up, we're going to ask you to stay up here, and I think the communications department would like a photo afterwards of all of the 6 award recipients from the city. So if you can stick around afterwards, we'd appreciate that. And then the council is going to come up and help me pass out these awards. Joni's here, Joni Bennett, Ann Swenson, Mary Brindle, and I don't see, is Josh here? I don't think so. Josh is probably the youngest member of the Noon Rotary, as a matter of fact. So I don't even know what that means. I don't even know why I said it. So the first award we have this evening is for the Historical Society, the Mayor's Service Club Commendation. And Joni and Ann, you want to come up, and Mary? And who's coming up for the Historical Society? I'm going to have, okay, Dan, thanks. Come on up. Don't you want to come up too? Come on. Come on. You're kind of you're Mr. Edina. We need you up here.
Thank you.
Not only have you served longer than anyone else, but you've surveyed the whole town. You know it better than anybody. So the Mayor's Service Club Commendation this year is going to the Edina Historical Society. This is an award that goes to the organization that's made an outstanding contribution to the community. And of course, you've heard folks talk about the Quasqui Centennial. In addition to the Historical Society working on it, Joni was actively involved in it too. So that marked the 125th year since the incorporation of Edina in 1888. And when I looked at the year 1888, when we did the Quasqui Centennial, I don't know why I remember these little tidbits, but that was the year that Jack the Ripper killed his 5th person. And it was also the year that Vincent van Gogh cut off his ear. It had nothing to do with our incorporation of our community. So anyway, they had a lot of events. And their historic house tour drew almost 700 people. And events throughout the year helped connect the city's present to its past. The Society has made a concerted effort to bring history to the community, expanding its outreach efforts through its website and blog. Efforts include bringing the past to life for thousands of school children attending field trips at historic Cahill School and the Minnehaha Grange, and by assisting the Edina Garden Council in preserving and documenting its 60-year history. Last year, staff and volunteers trained Edina Garden Council members on scanning and cataloging its boxes of scrapbooks, photos, and clippings, and the Society helped the Garden Council launch an exhibit showcasing its collection. The Society also supports the city by providing historic background material for projects like the 50th and France Parking Ramp Project and the Grandview Project, amongst others. All this is done with a part-time director, part-time interpretive staff at Cahill School, a dedicated board of directors, and a core of volunteers, along with community support. Please help me in congratulating the Edina Historical Society for receiving the Mayor's Service Club Commendation Award. You guys would sit up here, that would be good. Mike, you want to walk up, please? This is Mike Fisher working his way up here. So we're giving the individual award for outstanding and exceptional volunteer service to Mike Fisher this year. Mike Fisher served on the Planning Commission for 9 years, serving 2 years as chair of the commission. He also generously stepped out of retirement last year when another Planning Commission member resigned. As chair of the Planning Commission, he led the effort to introduce planned unit development and sketch plan review into our development review process. Mike has served on several additional committees and task forces for the city, including the Local Traffic Task Force in 2002 and 2003, the Greater Southdale Area Land Use and Transportation Study in 2004 and 2005, the Edina Housing Task Force in 2005 and 2006, the Comprehensive Plan Task Force 2006 to 2008, the Zoning Board of Appeals from 2004 to 2014. When not volunteering his time in Edina, Mike's an architect and senior vice president at LHB, a 250-person architecture, engineering, and planning firm in Minneapolis and Duluth. He's also an expert in tax increment financing analysis, assisting cities with strategic planning for TIF districts. Mike was one of 4 architects in the country to receive the AIA Young Architect Citation in 1997. He completed a 2-year Bush Fellowship studying at MIT and Harvard and earned his master's degree in city planning and real estate development from MIT. Prior to his Bush Fellowship, he served as city council president and as chair of the Metropolitan Planning Organization while living in Duluth Superior. He lives in the Cornelia neighborhood with his wife Lori, raise your hand please, and 3 kids and their dog Lucky. And if you remember, his son Alec Fisher was the one who did the Minnesota Nice documentary on bullying. So, and he's got 2 other great kids too. So help me thank and recognize Mike Fisher for the wonderful work that he's done for our town.
So you want a speech, huh? Oh. I just wanted to thank Mayor Hovland and the City Council for this award. I'm not sure I really am deserving of it, but I'm very honored for it. I also want to thank the staff. You know, I've worked on a lot of committees, and every one of those committees involves staff that are really doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and they never get credit. They get blame sometimes when it doesn't go perfectly, but they almost never get credit. And I just want to make sure, thank them. And I want to thank my wife, Lori, who, you know, I can't help but, you know, you sit through an evening like this and you see this amazing volunteerism. We really should be giving the spouses and loved ones the awards because, you know, they're home with the paint cracking on the walls and the lawn's looking really bad. At least that's the case here. I just wanted to say, you know, one of the reasons I'm not sure I'm deserving of it is, you know, my passion for the last 28 years since I graduated from undergrad was to help create great cities, whether it's designing, planning, or leading in some way. And it's what I love to do. I just get paid by day, and then by night, I'm willing to do it for free because I love it. And I've worked in cities all over the country, hundreds and hundreds of cities, and I can't say this enough, how incredible Edina is. You know, it's location, location, location. That's where we start. And then we have the best schools. And then we have this incredible, this neighborhood structure with a really good building stock. But then it's this. It's a pool of talent, of people willing to step up and make a difference. And that combination is, it's nowhere else like that. And my last thing I would like to say is that one thing I've always believed, one thing I see in many communities is people focus on what they disagree on all the time, and that becomes sort of the discussion. And I hope for us, and that we continue with this pool of talent and what we have here, is that we always, no matter what we're working on, that we start with what we agree on and build from that. That's how we're going to continue to be Edina. Thank you.
Sandy. So as Sandy Phillips was working her way up here, I was just chuckling to myself. Sandy's very active in Edina Federation of Women, and she asked me to write a introduction for their program, for their fundraiser, the last fundraiser they had. And so, of course, I didn't get it done on time. And so I get these gentle calls from Sandy saying, get it done, get it done. Finally, we got it done, but yeah, she's very persistent, and of course, I had promised I would do it, so I did it.
I actually gave him a date.
Yeah.
How about by this date?
So this award goes to a senior citizen for outstanding volunteer service within the community. An interior designer by trade, Sandy Phillips has been volunteering in our community for 45 years. She's volunteered countless hours through the Edina Public Schools, Church of St. Patrick's, Edina Veep, Cornerstone, and Edina Federated Women's Club. With Edina Public Schools, Sandy volunteered at every level of the school system, starting with Cornelia Elementary as Snowfest Chair and Newsletter Coordinator, with Southview Middle School in all aspects of communications, and with the high school as Yearbook Advisor for 1 year, and EHS Buzzwords newspaper for 3 years. With the Church of St. Patrick, she continues to work on the art and environment committees. She plans the purchasing of plants, the coordination of the garage sale, and is co-chair of the flower show taking place this weekend. Sandy also volunteers with Veep and Cornerstone, acting as primary contact for Cornerstone when crucial items are needed for women in need. Through her work with Veep, she received the Minnesota Food Share Award for collecting the most food of anyone, anywhere, a whopping 11,000 pounds. With the Edina Federated Women's Club, Sandy has served in every office of the club, including President, FedsFest Chair, and Special Projects Chair. Until her retirement, Sandy performed all of her volunteer work while working full-time and raising a family with her husband David, who is sitting over here. She feels passionately about giving to others and fulfilling the needs of others. Not only does she regularly host family gatherings and dote on her 4 wonderful grandchildren, she also cares for a dear friend with dementia, visiting on a weekly basis and making sure all of her medications are in order. A favorite hobby of Sandy's is gardening. A goal of hers is to obtain her master's gardener's degree amidst her busy schedule. Please help me thank Sandy Phillips for being such a wonderful volunteer in our town.
In 1949, my husband and I decided to buy our first house. We had been in an apartment. I was born and raised in St. Paul, and I said to him, how about we look for a house in St. Paul? And he said, no. We are going to look for a house in Edina. He wouldn't hear of any other community but Edina. And so we did. We bought our first house in Edina 45 years ago, and we've been volunteering here ever since. David recently retired. All this work time, this has been my support man. That's the reason I can get all these things done. And I think we do. Someone else said we have to remember the spouses. I think that's entirely true. We do. And I really am overwhelmed and humbled by receiving this award, because there are so many people who could also be up here receiving this award. I mean, the room is full of all of these folks. And so I feel very, very blessed. And I think we always have to remember that we have to help each other in any way we can. And that's what I'm here to do. And I thank you, and I am very, very grateful to have received this award. Thank you very much.
I felt a little hand. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I violated the rule that Scott set forth earlier about no more than 1 award per volunteer. Donson and Kyle, you want to come up? Where's Kyle? There he is. When I saw the background information on these young guys, I thought we've got to give them both an award and recognize them and boost them along and reinforce these things that are so important to be doing, that they just sort of instinctively do on their own. So Donson Laja, I'm going to talk about first. Come on up here, Donson. Donson became a volunteer at Fairview Southdale Hospital in July 2013. He has donated over 208 hours of service as a member of the Junior Volunteer Corps in just 9 months. Donson also volunteers his time at the Hennepin County Medical Center and Feed My Starving Children. He plays basketball and is a member of the Tibetan Club and Multicultural Club at Edina High School. He has studied English as a second language since he arrived and will graduate from Edina High School in 2014. Congratulations. Donson was born in Tibet to a farming family and had little formal education before immigrating to the U.S. through China in 2011. When he applied to our volunteer program and learned of the scholarship program, he determined to meet the minimum hours necessary by the deadline established by the hospital. In order to meet this personal goal, Donson regularly completed 4 shifts each week in addition to all of his other responsibilities. Usual volunteer commitments are 1 shift per week. Donson is exceptionally willing and eager to be of assistance in any way possible. His positive attitude and kindness make him a great pleasure to be around. It's our collective pleasure in recognizing you as being such a great young volunteer. So thanks, Donson. Thank you. You want to say something?
Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Come on up a little further. Kyle Schwartz is a junior at Edina High School. He's got a 4.0 GPA. He's in his 3rd year on the Edina High School boys track and field team, 2nd year on cross country, and recently completed a 1st year with the Nordic skiing team. His interest in Habitat for Humanity projects originated in the spring of 2013 with a request to the Serving Youth program to help organize multiple projects for EHS students throughout the year. EHS has had a relationship with Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity for years, but Kyle initiated growing that partnership so that EHS students would volunteer not only during the winter, but all year round, including the summer. Kyle has proven to be a strong advocate for building decent and affordable housing for families in need, as well as a motivator for his peers to do the same. Last summer, he traveled to Paraguay with his family to help build homes for 2 families with Habitat for Humanity. This summer, Kyle will pursue his dedication to helping others by traveling to Entebbe, Uganda in June on a medical mission to screen 1,000 kids for rheumatic heart disease. Kyle is considering a career in medicine, possibly medicine or bioengineering, and will most likely attend a West Coast school for university. He also enjoys lifting weights, traveling, skiing, biking, playing guitar, a self-taught hobby. Please help me welcome and thank Kyle Schwartz for doing such a wonderful job. Thank you. Kyle, go ahead.
Thank you.
A couple of very humble young guys, I'd say. All right, now we have the Connecting with Kids commendation. It's a co-award. Where's Mark Lawrence and Lori Shimizu? Where are they? Here they are. Welcome. Good to see you. Lori, good to see you. These 2 are unbelievable. I'll read some things about them, but they are, is it every day with the robotics team? How many hours a day, do you think? All day. So let me read some things about the 2 of them. Mark Lawrence and Lori Shimizu are head mentors of the Edina High School robotics team, 1816, also known as the Green Machine. Mark and Lori had devoted countless hours and expertise since the formation of the first robotics team at Edina High School in 2006. Mark serves as operations director of the team, and Lori is their communications mentor. Mark is a retired high-tech expert who worked over 30 years for Control Data, Silicon Graphics, and Cisco Systems. He has a BS in oceanography and geology. Since earning her BS in communications, Lori has worked as a teacher, journalist, editor, writer, radio news announcer, in video production, and as an on-air TV reporter and anchor. Hundreds of youth, including many girls, are pursuing technology and engineering careers because of the first robotics program Mark and Lori started at Edina High School. Because of their leadership, hundreds of teams have started in the Midwest region, which Mark now leads. There's a fun fact for you. There are now more robotics teams than hockey teams in Minnesota because of the work. There are now more robotics teams than hockey teams in Minnesota because of the work Mark and Lori have been doing since 2006. The Edina team was one of 1,025 teams worldwide competing as part of the first robotics competition in 2006. Team 1816 recently was awarded the Chairman's Award at the Lake Superior Regional Competition in Duluth and participated in the World Championship event in St. Louis, Missouri last week. Please help me recognize and thank these two for doing such a wonderful job for the kids in our town.
Well, it is truly an honor and a privilege to work with all of the young folks who have come through Edina High School since 2006. I have two, one who is graduating from college this year and another from Edina High School as well. But honestly, all of my work would not have been possible without my husband Yoji, who has been aiding and abetting and encouraging and inspiring me every day to get back out there and do what needs to be done to make sure that our young people really are as well prepared as possible for our future. So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Mayor.
I just wanted to give you a little brief history of the program, just to enlighten you on how this actually got started. My sister was the operations director for the Upper Midwest for First Robotics. It was a new position. She'd been in it about a year. I had newly retired from the high-tech business. I got a telephone call one day. She said, "Mark, there's somebody in Edina that wants to start a robotics team." And I said, "Well, that's interesting." I'd been sort of following it, thought it was a pretty cool program, and I said, "Okay, I got some time on my hands, I'll check it out." It turned out to be an Edina junior at the high school. He and his friends had seen an ad and an article in Discover magazine about this program and said, "We want to do that." Well, we wrote a grant, started a team, we won our first competition, went to the World Championship in Atlanta. I looked around and I said, "You know what? Where's Minnesota?" There was one other team at that point in time. We went to the businesses in the community. They gave us a lot of money, still give us a lot of money. We hired someone to go recruit other teams. We now have 186 high schools participating in this program. It also includes First Tech Challenge. Edina has 6 First Tech Challenge teams. Those are small robots this size in the middle school, and Lego League. A lot of you have probably heard about Lego League. There are 550 Lego League teams in this state. So the program has grown immensely. We found a sweet spot with the students that were not being served by the other programs in the schools. And one of just to tell you what the Chairman's Award is for, it's not actually for winning with the robot on the field of play. It's for doing outreach in the community. It's for being a community citizen and for participating in the community and doing things like working with Dow to clean up parks, participating in the parades and promoting STEM education so that we can fulfill these high-tech jobs that we're falling way short on and shipping those jobs overseas or bringing in green card visa people to fill them. So that's our mission. As we like to say, it's not students building robots, it's robots building young adults. And they're great kids to work with. Thanks.
When you go over to the high school on a Saturday afternoon in the winter, you'll find the two of them kind of hovering around watching all these kids working in the hallway over there and displaying things for the public on the days that they do that. And then I remember one day I was over there and huddled in the corner were 3 kids working on their laptops, and I asked what grade they were in, and I think one was maybe a 9th grader, 10th graders, and well, what are you working on your computer? Well, they're writing program for the robot. And other kids are over there working, doing CAD design, and they get these projects, they get the instructions and have to build whatever the competition is going to evolve around that particular year. Then they have to basically crate it up and lock it up. And then ship it to the competition, so they can't make any changes in in the work that they've done. Now I may be a little bit off on some of these things, but it's an incredible thing that the two of you have done. And for everybody in this room, I will also tell you thank you so much for serving our town the way you do. It helps make it the community that it is. It's another wonderful volunteer celebration evening in Edina, despite the weather outside. This too shall pass. But please remember, this was really a special evening. Mary?
You have one more.
Oh, I have one more? Okay.
And he's kind of sitting over in that corner over there.
All right.
Michael Fry.
Wow, that would have been really embarrassing. Michael, come on up. The old mayor's got dementia. This is Michael Fry, who has been doing just a fabulous job for us. So he's every year we have an award to a city employee as an outstanding volunteer, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the things that he's been doing. You've maybe seen him over, if you've been over to the Arts Center and other art-related activities. He's around planning and doing something significant all the time. So let's talk about him a little bit. As a city employee, Michael Fry has served the past 17 months as director of the Edina Arts Center, having also been interim director in the previous 15 months. A native of Boulder, Colorado, Michael has called Minnesota home since 1981. He began teaching portrait and basic drawing at the Edina Arts Center in 1998. In addition to serving as the city liaison to the Edina Arts and Culture Commission and Edina Public Art, here are a few examples of Michael going above and beyond. He helped Bill McCabe and Doug May at Centennial Lakes install a sculpture which proved challenging in high humidity. He works the will call desk at the annual Edina Film Festival. Did you notice they had a convention on the Big Lebowski? You guys had the Big Lebowski there last year.
One of our films.
Yeah. Serves on the board of the Edina Chorale. Serves on the 50th and France events committees. Serves on Arts and Culture Working Group. Serves on the Grandview Ways and Means Group. Serves as judge for the Edina Art Fair. Has painted paintings for commercials for the liquor store and Olympics commercials. Sets up the Arts Center booth at Fall into the Arts. Is a teacher at the Art Academy for middle and high school students every Tuesday night. And was recently named chair of the 2014 annual Fall into the Arts event to be held at Centennial Lakes. So, while it is true that many of the committees and groups Michael serves on are part of his job description, on too many occasions to count, he has spent his lunch and evening hours as well as weekends getting everything done for the love and passion of arts and culture in Edina. Please help me thank Michael Fry for the wonderful work that he's done for Edina.
All of that sounds so much better coming out of the mayor's mouth. So when all of you need some downtime from your volunteer work, if that's ever possible in this group, the Edina Arts and Culture Commission and the Edina Arts Center and my volunteers are ready to create the arts and culture and the entertainment that you need in this city. And we are going for bringing that level of arts and culture to a much higher level. Edina is a great city, and you know, I'm from Boulder, Colorado, as the mayor mentioned, and I don't know if you've heard about the great schools in this community or if you've heard about the hockey team in this community, but we are trying to make arts and culture be heard. And we have music in the Park Summer Series coming up. We have public art and not just sculpture. We have the Authors Studio at the Arts Center. And we have one more, the Film Festival, which is a wonderful event. So I just wanted to thank you all. I love my job. I really do. And I have the best job in the world. I've always wanted to be an artist, and I've always wanted to work in the arts. And working for the city of Edina is one of the greatest honors and privileges. Thank you very much.
Well, I was first struck this evening with Charlie Merle talking about being here on his 36th wedding anniversary and thanking his wife for understanding his volunteering work. And sticking with the theme this evening, I'd thank my wife as well. She's back here somewhere over here. For it feels like a volunteer job you have to get elected to. And so I feel the same way all of you do about this community. Everybody up here on the city council feels the same. It's a wonderful city filled with wonderful people, and we are so fortunate to be the community that we are, and you are the folks that help us make Edina a fabulous place to live, a fabulous place to raise a family and do business. So thank you all for coming this evening. As I said earlier, this was really a special night. Remember well the award recipients, and thank you all for coming. And Chief Long, good to see you. Thanks, folks.